and welcome to Killer Cook's Kitchen. Tonight we're just going to be making a very simple Portuguese soup called Calde Verde, meaning green collards. Here we have our collard greens, the leaves, and what we're going to do with this is we're going to chop those up in a second. The other ingredients are just a roughly chopped onion, a teaspoon of garlic minced, roughly diced potatoes, and Portuguese Soup sausage. So here is our collard greens, and we're going to tear off the leaves from the stem, okay? And we're going to cut them in very thin strips so they all cook very quickly inside the soup. Okay, so what we're going to do, so I'm going to cut that in a second. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get, Sandy, you can come closer, get my pot heated up here. We're going to put a couple teaspoons of olive oil and get that heated up. Grab a spoon here. We're going to add our onions and garlic and potatoes, and we're going to saute them up for a minute or so, and then we're going to cover the potatoes with water, and we're going to let them cook for, they're going to take about 20 minutes or so till the potatoes are nice and soft. And then we are going to grab our stick blender, and we're going to puree it all together at once later. So this is nice and hot. Where's my spoon? So we're going to get our onions in there. Teaspoon of garlic. So let that get going for a second. That'll get going for a second. Sandy, if you want to come back this way, we'll start cutting up these
collards.
These collard greens. So, like, these are pretty big leaves. So what you want to do is you want to cut them into smaller pieces, like so. This one's okay. That's okay. And then you just want to cut them into small strips, like so. Okay, we'll cut them a little smaller, and we'll put them in a bowl there. Now I'm making a small, well, roughly small batch of soup just for the two of us. If you go back to the pot, our onions and garlic are starting to
sizzle,
sweat here. I will just let that cook for a minute or two to get those, a little bit of caramelization on there. And we'll cut the rest of our collards here. So I used 3 potatoes, and I diced them up and peeled them.
Starting to smell good.
So here we have the onions and the garlic. Garlic's just starting to brown, so you want to get our potatoes in there. And we'll saute those for a second. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to cover this with water. Now the amount of water, you want to put an extra bit of water in here. I'm just going to come back over here, Sandy.
Okay.
So the amount of water to the potatoes, you want to cover the potatoes by 2 or 3 inches. You don't want a thick soup. It's more of a brothy